Hello everybody, my name is Jacqueline, and in today's video I have a review of the brand new Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette. And before we get started, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, ring that little notification bell so you get to know whenever I upload new videos. Also, do not forget to follow me on Instagram. And now, if you want to know more about this beautiful Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette application, design look, comparisons, and all the details, just keep on watching. Okay, my friends, so I'm very excited for this review today. I actually just did my Will I Buy It videos, I think about 2 days ago. You may have seen it yesterday. And today I went to my local Sephora. I was shopping for something different. I was looking for something completely different. And while I was at checkout, I realized that on one of the gondolas end, there was this Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette. And I'm like, wait a second, why is there? I just grabbed it. I just snatched it and went ahead and checked out. And that was it. So I don't know if there is a confusion or not. As I mentioned on my Will I Buy It video yesterday, this Natasha Denona palette was released on a website called feelunique.com, and this palette is not supposed to be out in the market until June 3rd. That's the official date that this palette will launch at Sephora.com, some Sephora stores, Beautylish, and Natasha Denona website. So I don't know if there has been some confusion or what is going on, because I was able to place my order at feelunique.com and then the next day they sent me an email that they cannot ship the item until June 3rd. And feelunique.com is a website based, I think, in Europe. And I said, okay, well, let me just cancel my order. And I thought I'm going to pick it up whenever it comes to Sephora and just purchase it from there. By my surprise today, when I walked into my Sephora, this palette was already out there. I don't know if something has changed in United States. This weekend is Memorial Weekend, and it's a big holiday, big celebration. There's a lot of sales going on everywhere. Right now Sephora doesn't have any specific sale in the entire store, but there's a lot of items that they had been on sale, and I don't know if that's why they put it out. I mean, I have no idea. But anyhow, I will stop rambling right there and just let you know more about this palette. So when you receive it, it comes in this beautiful box. It's kind of like a reddish box with a little bit of a not orange, but it has a little bit of a tint of orange undertone in it, mostly red. It says Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette, and here's the back of the box. When you take it out, you will find out the palette is just beautiful. You see this red and orange sheath that it has, and it has a metal cover to it. It says Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette, and when you open it up, you have the mirror, the big mirror, and 15 different shades in the palette. It's just so beautiful. Another thing to note, just as most of Natasha Denona palettes, you can actually pop up all the eyeshadows. Just the pans, you can take them out. There's little holes here in the back that you can poke them in, and if you want to customize your own palette, you can do so by taking them out. Now, there is a big difference between this palette and the say quote-unquote normal palettes that we have seen from Natasha Denona. But let me just give you a couple other details. This palette is actually made in Italy. It is paraben-free and is cruelty-free too. Is non-tested on animals. After opening, you have 24 months, 2 years to use it, so that's a really nice time. Now, I wanted to compare it to other Natasha Denona palettes that I own. First, on the weight. I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but this palette costs $65, and that net weight of this eyeshadow palette is 19.25 grams of product. That's in total all the eyeshadows. Now, if we compare it to, say, the Sunset palette, that I have it right over here, if you can tell, the size is different between, say, the Sunset palette and the Sunrise palette, as well as like a Lila palette and this palette right here. So this is the difference in size, and as you can tell, the pan size is different, hence the price difference as well. Now these palettes right here contain 37.5 grams of product, while the Sunrise palette contains 19.25 grams of product. So basically the Sunrise palette comes with a little bit more, like a gram more of eyeshadow product on this palette, just a tiny bit. Now we understand why the price difference. These palettes right here cost $129, while this one is $65, so it's about half the price of a regular eyeshadow palette. Now let me read you a little bit about more details about this palette. This palette is inspired by the warm glow of a morning sunrise with sunny yellows, crimson corals, earthy browns, and powerful pinks, all made to meld together in perfect harmony. Now, the Sunrise palette features 15 brand new shades in Natasha Denona's iconic formulas. These shades are packed with highest quality ingredients to create buttery, soft textures that blend seamlessly for vibrant, ultra-pigmented, long-lasting looks. The duochromes, velvety matte, and sparkling metallic hues will elevate your senses and inspire you to create your very own radiant work of art. These palettes contain, again, 15 eyeshadows. Now I'm going to show you some swatches of this palette. Poppy is a crimson bronze metallic shade. Citrine is a warm yellow matte. Phlox is a burnt warm crimson metallic. Awakening is a lavender nude duochrome. Laurel is a peachy champagne metallic. Aster is a violet mauve duochrome. Glory is a fuchsia matte. Azalea is a pink copper duochrome. Morgan is a pastel coral creamy matte. Agate is a champagne apricot metallic. Clove is a dark maroon creamy matte. Carnelian is a burnt light orange creamy matte. Jasper is a bright terracotta creamy matte. Morning is a light apricot creamy matte. And Day Spring is a nude bronze metallic. Other palettes from Natasha Denona. I want to show you the application and how I created this eye look. I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am to be playing with this palette right now. But the first shadow that I'm gonna put all over my crease, it is the shade called Morgan, right over here. And I'm just gonna do it with a fluffy brush. So this shade is a matte shade and it's a little bit powdery, so be careful because it has actually a lot of pigmentation. Another thing that I want to mention is that I had applied my concealer and then I had set it with just setting powder, and then I'm applying directly the shadows. Next I'm going to go with the shade Citrine. Is the lightest yellow in the palette, and I'm just working it with a Blender Pro by Sonia G. And again, I don't know if you can see, but the shadow is actually picking up a lot. It's powdery, but it's not too messy. This shadow has a lot of pigmentation. Really, really well pigmented. Next, I'm gonna go to this shade called Chameleon, and this is another yellow tone, a little bit I will say a little bit of a mustard yellow. It's not as bright as citrine, but citrine is a little bit on the muted side of yellow. It's not very vibrant. And once again, we see this color carnelian. The brush had picked up a lot, and this is a Morphe brush M330. And I'm just gonna place it kind of like in the crease. Next shade I'm gonna be using is the shade Glory. Is the shade right here. It's kind of like a magenta color, but again, this is a very muted shade of magenta. And I'm just gonna take the same brush and I'm just gonna try to place the shadow on that very cheap, and again, a lot of gray pigmentation right there. You can see how much the brush was able to pick up. Again, the shade is Glory. Okay, this shade Glory right here, it's a little bit harder to blend. Not super hard, it's not patchy, but it's just giving me a little bit more work at blending it. Next, I'm going to start dipping it out my outer V with the shade Clove in the palette. And I'm using a Sigma E25 brush to do this. And again, I'm just going to place it right here on my outer V. Next, and with the same brush, I'm going to go to the shade Jasper, which is kind of like a burnt orange, or like a brick orange right here. And I'm just gonna keep it in between the shade Cloves, just to blend it in a little bit more. With a Sonia G Builder Pro brush, I'm gonna go to the shade Fox. It's this shade right here. And I'm applying it completely dry. And I'm going to start building it in. I want to take the shade Aster right here. And I'm going to just be using a flat brush. And again, I'm going to try to apply it dry first to see what payoff will give me. Okay, this is a very creamy shade, and it actually looks a little bit like a topper. You can see right there. Let me see if I can build it up with my finger. Oh yes. It gave me a pretty payoff when I apply it with my finger. And it's also a duochrome, have some lilac in it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go again into the shade Glory with a smudge brush, and I'm just gonna take it on my lower lash line. With the shade Morgan again, and I'm just gonna blend in my lower lash line. For my inner corner, I'm gonna use the shade Agate. I just mix citrine and Agate for my inner corner. Okay, my friends, so I'm gonna get done my eye look off camera. I'm just gonna put some lashes, liner, and then I will be right back to give you my final thoughts on this new Natasha Denona Sunrise Palette. Okay, my friends, so this is my final eye look. Now, I know a lot of you will be wondering if this Sunrise palette is too similar to either the Sunset palette or even perhaps the Lila palette, if you will find exactly same colors. And I have gone ahead and swatched some of the shadows that look similar on the pans when looking at them live, not on the screen, and I will say that they differ. So I will show you which ones are close, but they are not exactly neither duplicates or identical. They have different undertones. The first one that I thought it was similar is this shade Magnetic, and the Lila palette is this right here, and I wanted it to make a comparison between the shades Poppy and Phlox, which are these two right here in the palette. And here you go. This is the one from the Lila palette, which has more of a pink tones, and then these two right here are Poppy and Phlox, and they are actually different. They have a different undertone. They have more red undertone to it, while the Lila Magnetic shade has more of a hot pink undertone. Now, another familiar shade from the Lila palette is this shade called Amara. It's right here on the very top, right there. And now that shade Amara is a matte shade, and I wanted it to compare it to the shade Clove, which is this shade right here. And those two are actually fairly similar. Now, Amara, which is from the Lila palette, has more of a brown undertone, while Clove have a little bit more of a burgundy undertone. So this is Amara from Lila palette, and this is Clove for the Sunrise palette. Next shades that I wanted to compare is Vivid from Lila palette versus Aster from Sunrise palette, which is the shade right here. This is a duochrome purpley, because they are kind of like purpley duochromes. And here they are, these two shades right here. Here is a Vivid from Lila palette, and this is Aster from the Sunrise palette. As you can tell, they are different tones. In fact, Aster is a little bit more of a topper rather than a full on shadow with plenty opacity. It actually, I think you have seen on the application that it went a little bit more as a topper than it will look than an actual deep tone shade. So there's a big difference between them. Also, the Vivid palette from Lila has a little bit more of a purple undertone, while Aster has more of a pink shift to it. Next shade that I have here is Magnolia, and this is from Lila palette, is this shade right over here, and I compared it with Day Spring, which is this shade right here. This is Magnolia, and this is Day Spring from the new Sunrise palette, Lila and Sunrise palette. So as you can tell, they both have a orange undertone, but the Lila palette has a little bit more of like a bronzy undertone, while the Day Spring shade from the Sunrise palette has a little bit more of a coppery undertone, which it took me to another palette, and that palette is the Sunset palette. And here you go, as you can tell, has a lot of shades that seem very alike to the new Sunrise palette. So here you go, I swatched this shade Aubade, which is this shade right over here, versus the shade Azalea, which is this one right here. And I had put it, this is Aubade, and this one right here is Azalea from Sunrise. Gold palette, sorry, Sunset palette, and then this is the Sunrise palette. And then from the Sunset palette, I also went ahead and swatched Morgana, and here it is Morgana. Although the shades are similar, they have a little bit more copper and bronze shades. They are all different. They don't have the very same undertone. In fact, the shade Morgana from the Sunset palette has a little bit more of a coral undertone to it, while all the other ones are either really bronzy or coppery tones, but all of them, they differ one from the other. Now, the two shades that to me, in the palette, they don't look identical, but when you swatch them, they are pretty much identical. Soul from the Sunset palette, and then the shade Citrine from the Sunrise palette. Although they are not identical on the palette, they swatch, to me, in regular light, they look pretty much the same. Maybe the shade Citrine is a little bit deeper than the one from the Sunset palette, Sol, which is a little bit brighter, but at the end the result is very similar. Next shade is Agate from Sunrise, and the other shade that I swatch, it is Sundays. Is this shade in Sunset palette. This is Sundays and this is Agate. As you can see, they are very close in shade, but the Agate shade has a little bit more glitter in it, while the one from the Sunset palette, it's a little bit more flat shimmer. Now, the last shade that I found a little bit similar are Jasper from Sunrise palette and the shade Horizon from Sunset palette, which is this right here. So again, just putting them side by side right there. This is Jasper from Sunrise palette, and this is Horizon from the Gold palette. As you can tell, Jasper, although orange, it has a little bit more of a deeper brick undertone, while the one Horizon from the Sunset has a little bit more of an orange undertone to it. So now that we have done all the comparisons between the Sunset palette and the Lila palette, which are the palettes that I kind of found the most similarities to the Sunrise palette, I have to say that most of these shadows, the ones that at least I used today, they were really nice and blendable, very creamy. The shimmers are super creamy. You don't need to even wet them. They will go full impact. This citrine color blended really nice. Same thing with Morgan and this shade Chameleon. The only shade that actually gave me a little bit of trouble at blending and I feel that it was a little bit patchy is this shade Glory. This shade right here, it's a beautiful, kind of like a deep fuchsia. The only shade that gave me a little bit of trouble and it went a little bit patchy and it was hard to blend is this shade Glory right here, which is kind of like a very deep raspberry color. It was just the only one that honestly it went well, but then when I wanted to blend it out and diffuse it, it just gave me a lot of work, a lot of trouble right there. Other than that, I was able to use Clove, Jasper, Chameleon. I tried to, the look that I created today, I thought to just use mostly the matte shades because they were so rich and so deep that I really wanted it to show you and see actually if it was blendable, because all these other colors, they are blendable. They don't have that, you know, like deep pigmentation that sometimes they are hard to blend, and I will say that all of them perform pretty well with the exception of the shade Glory. Now a little bit of a downside for me, although I really love the shade, is this shade right here, Aster. I didn't expect for it to be more of a tauper than a full-on shadow with a deep undertone, so it was kind of like a little bit of a surprise. It's not that I dislike it, but it just surprised me because I thought it was going to be like boom, kaboom, you know, kind of like a full-on shimmer. But everything else is very creamy. As you were able to see while I was doing the eye look, you have to kind of be careful with all these matte shadows. Brushes, they pick a lot of product. It's not super powdery, so you will not find this palette to be very messy, but the brush will pick up a lot of product, so you may want to go very gentle. Now that I want to mention that the shade Clove and Citrine, mostly Clove, it feels super nice creamy. It's a creamy, really nice creamy matte. Same thing with Morning. Morgan feels a little bit drier, and Jasper is also seems to be like a creamy formula. Very nice. Glory, although it feels creamy to touch, like I said, I just find some trouble blending. Now, what I love about this palette is that you can create really bold looks, just as I did today, because I wanted again to try whatever I think that is the hardest shades. But I think if aside to these hard shades right here, you can create a very beautiful soft look with this area right here, just with this coral, this beautiful, you know, like kind of like a Tuscany morning type of yellow. It's just so beautiful. This champagne color right here, this is Awakening, is a duochrome that has a little bit of a pink chief with a little bit of copper. It's just so beautiful. So you can create a very nice daytime look with these shades right here, this shade right here, and even these yellow right here. So if, and then you can bump it up or do a nighttime look using this shade right here. Out of all the shades, one of my favorite shades right here, it is this shade called Phlox. It's just so stunning. Look at that color right there. It's just so beautiful. It's a reminiscence of actually the outer package. It's just so pretty. That's kind of the shade that I like the most. And then I really like the shade Morgan. In my opinion, although honestly I don't know where to actually take off any of these beautiful shades right here, but I personally would have loved to see another coral shade, kind of like the Morgan, but a couple tones up, a little bit deeper, of a coral. Would have been really nice to see on this palette. But overall, this palette is just so beautiful, and I think Natasha Denona has made a really smart move. I think she is listening to the people who are really wanting to try more of her eyeshadows, or those who are already clients but maybe they can only afford one palette and they cannot really keep buying all the palettes, because I mean, to be honest with you, these palettes right here are $129, and if you are not a makeup artist, I'm not a makeup artist, and you just decide to either collect them, or you're just you know, just in love with makeup and you spend this much money, but then you have other items in your collection, then you never get to try this formula right here. Now, I honestly think that Natasha Denona is listening to her clients and those who are really wanting to try her formula, and they leave comments on her Instagram that I would love to get your palette, but I cannot afford it right now. And I think finally she has been listening to those comments. Honestly, the amount of eyeshadow that you get on these big size palettes, it's quite a bit, and it's a lot more than most of shadows out there. And I think it's a great move what she's doing to release these size palettes. These are more not only a smaller, compact, but also it gives the opportunity to other people to try her palettes. This is still expensive at $65, but you see, like for example, Huda Beauty, her palettes are also $65. A NARS palette is usually $59. So being on that range will bring those other clients that they may want to try her eyeshadow formula and they have not been able to buy them because of this price. So I think this is a great alternative, and I really hope that she comes with other palettes in the same format. It's a little bit more compact, a little bit smaller, a little bit slimmer too, as you can tell right here, and you know, travel friendly too. Hard case, it still have all the features that you can pop out all the shadows, you know, the pans from the actual palette. I think this is great. Also, it's kind of like the same idea that she's doing. She created the face palettes, contour palettes, bronze palettes, blush palettes, and now she's coming out with the tan palette. For example, I just did a review on this one right here, and this is perfect, travel friendly, a smaller size. I mean, this is the perfect size. Same thing with the Bloom palette. It's just perfect size for the common person, not the regular YouTuber, not those who were making reviews of makeup, not for those who are collectors, but just for people that go to work, they have another type of life, and they just want to have a different and beautiful formulation that they can rely on. And I think honestly this is such a beautiful palette. Like I said, you can get daytime look, soft look, and then you can bump it up to make a more impact look for nighttime or just more playful. So anyhow, my friends, I really hope you have enjoyed this video. Again, this Sunrise Palette by Natasha Denona will be available on June 3rd for you to purchase at Sephora.com, Beautylish, and Natasha Denona website. I don't know what was the hiccup on the Sephora store that I was in today, but I was lucky to get it, and I'm so happy that I was able to review it for you. And now, if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up. It will mean a lot to me. It will also help me to rank up my videos, and I think that's super important. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? I will bring you great content. I'm always out there looking for the new releases and trying to get you really fun and good content. So please give me an opportunity, subscribe to my channel, and do not forget to ring that notification bell, because believe me, YouTube will not let you know when I upload new videos, or anybody, if you don't ring that bell. So make sure you ring it right there. And until the next time, you have a wonderful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.